Hey, boys and girls. So this weekend I finished up Someone You Can Build a Nest In, which is every bit as weird as that title makes it sound. So what's the deal here? Shisheshin, who is our protagonist, is awakened from her hibernation by some petty adventurers who have come along to slay the monster. You know, and that's pretty normal fare for a fantasy novel or a horror novel. Yeah, but that's about as normal as it gets. Normally, you get these monsters who like to, tear up their prey and, use their skin as an outer body. Yeah, she doesn't play that way. I think it's never really super described when she's not in her human form. But yeah, she's more of the blob, not the one from X-Men. That's not who I'm talking about. I'm just talking about the, giant massive protoplasm going around eating things. So yeah, she uses her prey as a skeleton instead. Yeah, it's kind of hard to run around without any bones, things like that. When you got to remake your body every single time you come out of hibernation, any bone, organ, scrap metal, piece of wood, branch, it'll all do. Because that's what she's using to prop herself up. And yeah, like I said, this book is every bit as weird as it sounds, but it's also very, very enjoyable read. I still don't know how John Wiswell managed to pull this off. He's written a book that is somehow romance, cozy horror, and dead bodies all at the same time. It's kind of a miracle that he pulled it off, but he did pull it off. I really enjoyed this book. Giving it about 4 stars. Some of you, this may be a 5. I will not argue with you on that. I would say that this would not normally be in my wheelhouse, but the book that John Wiswell has written, and I hope I'm pronouncing that right, is managed to pull it off. It's just that good. So a little bit of background on Shisheshin, and I hope I'm pronouncing that right. She is, obviously we talked about she's a monster. She has killed off all of her siblings while still, I won't say being born. You got to remember, the name of this book says it all. Someone you can build a nest in. So her mom planted her eggs in her father. That's a completely different story. We're not going to get into that. But multiple eggs, it's a litter. Some of them make the mistake of trying to chew on her first, so she chews on them, and she kills off all her siblings. Of course, to get out of Dad, you've got to eat your way out. So Dad's dead. Never did get to meet the man, but she has fond memories of him. They're very nice ribs or something. As I smack my microphone around, and she has a very limited remembrance of her mother. Her mother is dead. Has been dead, so she's never had a mom growing up. She's had to learn to be a monster on her own. Thank goodness for instincts. But yeah, doesn't know everything that needs to be known. And it's coming up on time for her to lay her own eggs. So she's gotta find somebody. Gotta find someone who's she thinks is worthy of being nested in. Ignoring the fact that means her children are going to kill the person, but that's besides the point. Yeah, it's she's got an interesting story going on here. Not going to go into too many details with that because I don't want to spoil it, but obviously she meets someone, and the rest of the story is equal parts horror and equal parts how do I talk to people when I've been trying to avoid people my entire life because they like to stick pointy things in me. I'm just going to tell you guys to read it. That's all there is to it. It is just weird. I want to warn you about that. I know I've said that multiple times. Go into this story knowing it's weird, and I think you'll enjoy it better. Don't go into this story thinking you're going to be reading a normal Stephen King-ish horror novel or anything like that. Just enjoy it. And also as a side note, Carmen Rose did the audiobook and did a spectacular job. So I would have no issues telling you to listen to the audiobook in this one. As always, I usually prefer paperback, but when you get a lot of reads, sometimes you got to throw an audiobook in there every once in a while too. So kudos to Carmen Rose. Even more kudos to John Wiswell for managing to put a story that seems that would be hard to write, but managed to do it very well. All right, that's all I got for this one, guys. I will catch you later. Happy reading.